I know, I'm not good. All right, here we go.
The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles?
Welcome to the Morning Skate.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Skate. I'm Brownie here on a special edition Saturday morning interview / podcast with Northeastern Associate Head Coach for the women's hockey team, Nick Carpenito. Carp, how are you, buddy?
Great, Coach. How are you? Do we need to cover that again, or are we good to go?
No, I think everything's working. I mean, we'll find out, but it seems like it's working. So you're up in Maine, ready for your 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7th game of the season, right?
Sounds about right. Yeah, they all kind of melt together at some point. But yeah, we have a 4:00 game against Maine up in Alfond Arena, so we're excited about their a strong team, and you sign up for the tough games. So we're looking forward to one this afternoon.
Yeah, great barn, like we talked about before we started recording. A lot of history there, great teams over the years, and just a good atmosphere for hockey in general. Big time.
It's definitely like the interesting part about Maine is that, like, out here they're the show, right? They don't have the Bruins, they don't have any real athletic competition from
Dude, they barely have summer where you are.
What's that?
I said they barely have summer where you are. So.
Yeah, it always seems to be raining up here. It's the strangest thing. But all that being said, like, they have great crowds, not only from the people on campus, but also from the local community. So it's usually a really fun atmosphere to be a part of.
I want to talk, before we get into this year, I want to talk a little bit about last year. I don't want to bring up a sore subject. It was overall still a successful year by any stretch of the imagination.
Definitely.
You guys won your 4th consecutive Hockey East championship, made it all the way to overtime of the national championships game, and heartbreaker. I watched it. We talked afterwards. I mean, it's what they say, like the Oilers used to say about they had to watch the Islanders win in order to get there. So hopefully this year you're right back there. Predicted to be in the same position relatively. What was the mindset coming out from the girls, from the women?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game, and it was unfortunate the way it happened, like the way we lost. Like, afterwards I was thinking it was such a tough bounce. I almost rather they just like went bar down on us and had an unbelievable goal, as opposed to having it end like that. And I think the experience for the players to play in a tournament like that against competition like that was so valuable for this year. I mean, we lost one player, realistically, one senior graduated, and we brought in a bunch of additional talented players. So I think in the grand scheme of things, we're deeper than we were last year, which is pretty scary. So but just our team having that experience moving into this season, I think is going to be what really helps us make that final push when the time comes. So, but great season. Unfortunately, only one team can win the last game of the year, and we weren't it. But I know that they're hungry for to get back there, because they really enjoyed that experience. So.
Something that you touched upon, I wanted to bring up also. Explain to anyone listening, with COVID and the way it worked, the NCAA did actually a great job of handling this and giving an opportunity for student athletes.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So basically what happened was it was like a blanket waiver, for pretty much all sports, all winter sports, at least. I don't know about the fall and the spring sports, but essentially you get 4 years of eligibility to play. But because last year was such a, strange year for everybody, the NCAA didn't want to force kids to burn a year of eligibility on that. So basically they're giving everybody that played last year that year for free, so they can still maintain the rest of their eligibility. So kids are going to be playing 5 years of hockey as opposed to 4, which is pretty neat. And I think for us, we anticipated graduating a lot more than we did, and I know that there were a lot of graduate transfer situations happening too, and we got one from Cornell, Maddie Mills, who's an incredibly talented player. So we're very fortunate for that.
Yeah, she's
Um,
filthy.
yeah, yeah, she's crazy skilled. It's funny, like she can score goals. She's a great skater, but to the untrained eye, sometimes you miss some of the things that she really does well. Like she's just so intelligent with the puck. She's so intelligent off the puck, putting herself into quality scoring areas. Even she just makes these little plays like on power play. We had her, we were doing a 1-3-1, and I remember like one of her first practices, she made this play as the bumper player in the 1-3-1, which is the one in the middle there. And we were making a cross ice pass to a lane that wasn't necessarily there, so we forced it a little bit. And Maddie actually got underneath the kid that was covering her, picked up her stick, this puck slid right through, and then we banged home a one-timer from the weak side. So just like it doesn't sound too impressive, but little plays like that
Oh yeah.
are crazy, for her to be able to make those on such a consistent basis. So on top of the hockey, aspect of things, she's just such a great person, and we're really fortunate to have her as a part of our team.
I'm going to let it slide that you acted like I didn't know what the bumper was, even though I'm not out on the power plays ever. I still know what it is from watching on the bench, but that's fine. I'll just let that slide.
It's for
So,
everybody else that might be tuning in. That's what it is.
So, sticking with Mills for a sec. So she knew Frankel and Murphy from Shattuck St. Mary's, right?
Mhm. Yep, they all played together. I believe they all graduated together too.
Was there any like, hey, there's another year, you should come over and join us? Was there any team recruiting? Is that a thing? Player recruiting?
I can tell you that it's probably a thing not directed by coaching staffs.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like players talk, like, of course, I'm sure that I don't know exactly how it happened. All I know is that, obviously we went through all the right channels to make it work out here. But, once players, I think with her is a little bit different because Cornell didn't play last year. Right. So
Right.
she was kind of trying to figure it out pretty early.
Yeah.
So,
For those that don't know, the Ivy League shut down the entire
right.
season.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure that probably happened a little bit at some point. But I mean, again, the same thing with Murphy. Like when Murphy came here, um, she once she went, her process was a little bit different because she had to go through like the transfer portal and
Right.
whatnot. And Mills did too, but it was just different because her team wasn't playing. So um, yeah, we got a nice little Shattuck contingency here. That's for sure.
Well, it
Or
makes it
contingent.
easy. I mean, they're college athletes, but they're still only 20 to 23-year-old kids, really.
Mhm.
And, do you know a couple of people? You have some familiarity, it makes a softer landing.
Right. Definitely.
I didn't know if Frankel got on the phone like Bergeron to Foligno and was like, "Hey, you should come here," and it was one of those deals.
Very well
uh,
could be the case.
I'm sure everything was done the right, proper way for all the NCAA people that are listening. Uh, speaking of Frankel, so made the national team.
Mhm.
Didn't get a lot of time, but
Mhm.
she's back with you guys looking. I looked up her numbers so far. 105 goals against and a 945 save percentage. I don't know. Is that good?
It's pretty standard Aaron Frankel, I think,
Yeah, I
for
would
sure.
say she's picked up right where she's left off.
Yeah.
Getting
Yes.
ready. I assume you're getting ready to ride that horse until the wheels come off, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing for us, like, once it comes down to playoffs and hopefully national tournament, I think that it'll be, a more Frankel-driven approach. But, we're very fortunate. I think we have one of the best 1-2 goaltending combinations in the country in Aaron and Gwyneth Phillips. So, Gwyneth's she's been very patient the last few years, and obviously if there wasn't a global pandemic, which shame on us for not anticipating that there was one of those coming, and she'd be our starter this year, So, um, so she's been patient, and we want to find a right balance between doing what we need to do this year, and making sure that we're taking care of our future as well. So Gwyneth will get probably a few more games than she has in the past, but we played her against BU the other day, so we're putting her in a couple bigger spots than we had in the past, just to get her ready. And but once it comes down to it, assuming that Franco continues to do what she does, which there's no doubt in our mind that she will, then that's when we'll start what did you say? Riding the horse?
I don't know. Probably
Till
she probably
till the
won't be
wheels
thrilled to
fall
hear
off?
that.
Yeah.
Ride the horse to the wheels, because horses have wheels. Yeah, it's early, buddy. We usually don't do these podcasts during daylight hours.
I get you.
Well, speaking of goalies, though, you also have a stud stashed away.
Which one? We got 4 studs stashed
Well,
away.
yes, but I meant the freshman.
Yeah.
I had her name here a second ago.
Paige.
Wait. Yeah, Paige Taborski. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you guys have decided redshirt for this year.
Yep. So, again, with just the logjam of the COVID waiver, like I said, we didn't anticipate that Frankel was going to come back. Obviously we figured it out once the COVID waiver happened, but basically we just told Paige, like, you can come, right? You can come this year, but there's going to be 4 goalies, just a heads up.
And the fourth goalie is Alexa Matsis. Not to take anything away from her, you don't want to say her.
It was really, it kind of depends on the day, realistically. Yep. I think we have a pretty clear 1-2, and then 3-4. It's kind of back and forth, or it was back and forth. But obviously Alexa's a bit older, and Paige is just trying to transition into the college game. So we talked to her about taking that redshirt developmental year, so she doesn't lose a year of eligibility, and then that'll hopefully fix the logjam a little bit down the road. She can get used to the game, she can get used to school, and finding that balance, and maintain that eligibility. So next year, when we have a normal amount of goalies, we will she'll be able to step right in and contribute.
In the grand scheme of things, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, really good problem.
Yeah, if that's your biggest issue going into next year, I feel like you guys will be fine.
Yeah, we'll be in good shape, and she's an outstanding goaltender. She showed incredibly well in the national tournament last year for AAA hockey, and comes from a great team, great kid, great family. So we're pretty excited to have her, and we're excited to give her that extra year so she can develop and transition a little bit easier.
Speaking of next year, just slightly, I know that's way in the future. You are graduating pretty much half the roster.
Yeah, we got a pretty big turnover.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. You have some core pieces that'll still be there, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The recruiting, I assume, is gonna be a heavy summer for you.
Yeah, so we're pretty much wrapped up, to be honest with you. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like, so we have a big roster this year, but next year we're graduating 2 classes. Or this year we're graduating 2 classes. So pretty much all of last year's senior class, and then obviously this year's senior class. And the other thing to keep in mind too is that a lot of these kids still have that extra year, right? So, well, it might look like we're graduating. I don't even know the number off the top of my head, but some of those players are taking advantage of that extra year, and we're still going to be getting.
So the seniors don't have to graduate then,
right? So everybody that was on the roster last year gets an extra year.
Oh, that's a whole different. That's a whole different view, right?
Well, that's the tough part. Like the recruiting logjam, like the rosters are going to be affected by this for 4 years,
right?
So you're going
to be fair, I'm not really good at math at night or day, so it's not helping that. Yeah.
Oh, you leave that up to me then, and you don't even have to worry about it.
You definitely have to worry about it.
But yeah, it's this COVID waiver. It's going to affect rosters for 4 years. Between players staying, but also players that have graduated from other programs getting a free transfer to another school as a graduate student, which I think is going to be pretty interesting. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even enter into my equation, but then again,
Math.
that's why I work on homes and podcasts and talk about hockey and write about hockey. I'm not doing open heart surgery over here or anything like that, for sure. So this year, a little bit of a rocky start.
Mhm.
You guys are coming in today. What are you, 4-2? 4-2,
Whoa.
ranked 5th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4-2, ranked 5th. We've had a couple great games, and we've had a couple games that we felt like slipped away from us a little bit. Last weekend we played Providence and Boston University, and
That's a tough back-to-back early in the season.
yeah, it's tough, and I think it gave us a really good idea of where we're at and where we need to be. I think our biggest problem was capitalization. Like if you look at the box scores,
Yeah.
we had 70 shots in 2 games and scored 1
Yeah.
goal, which it's not going to win you a lot of hockey games. So I think just bearing
It was
down
almost
our
a 2-to-1 ratio in one of the games.
yeah, I mean we were. I think that our biggest problem was we were just a little bit too perimeter, and at times I think we were trying to get a little bit too cute with our plays, and we just need to get back to getting pucks to the net, making sure we have a good presence out front, and just capitalizing on the opportunities. Like it was, especially the first game, like it was one of those games where it just felt like we weren't really getting any bounces because I don't think we were creating very many bounces for ourselves, and but I think we had a pretty good bounce back against St. Anselm's on Wednesday, and
Yep.
hopefully that carries over into this weekend. I think it's going to be a really good test for us.
For those listening at home, Coach Carp is very much underselling this. Their bounce back was a 6-0 blanking of St. A's. And for we're not scoring any goals. The goal differential they're sitting on right now is 22-7 on the season. So
we weren't. I said we weren't scoring any goals in
those specific games. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a we needed to just do a better job capitalizing. Like I said, when you have 70 shots in a week and you score 1 goal, I mean we just needed to finish, realistically.
Well, they talk about at the NHL level, the cup hangover from the deep run, the more
Yeah.
games. You see that in college hockey? I mean, it's a lot younger.
Yeah.
You would think that there's not as many distractions because they're still in school. And
Yeah, I mean, I think that at times, and I think we've shook it off. I think at times we felt like we would just show up and win,
yeah,
and we learned pretty quickly that that's not how it works, So I guess you could consider that the Stanley Cup hangover of college hockey is just, when you're returning pretty much a whole team that was so successful last year, it's really easy to just think that you're going to do the same thing again. But, the important thing is you got to remember how you did it, and
right.
that's working hard, going to the net, playing a quality team game. And, you didn't do it by just showing up to the rink and beating someone up. So I think, maybe there was a little bit of that at times, but like I said, I feel pretty confident that we've shook that off at this point.
1 point for getting off the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's literally it. Yeah. But yeah, no. So I think it's definitely a real thing. But you gotta snap out of it really quick, and just understand, like I said, not necessarily what's going on this year, but what made you have the year that you had last year.
Speaking of last year now, so the senior class, 4th consecutive Hockey East championship.
Yeah.
The seniors, which are now grad students on the team, are undefeated in Hockey East tournament play, correct?
Correct.
That is just ridiculous. I mean, that's like high school stuff. You don't hear that at NCAA level. It's just crazy.
Yeah, they're an impressive group, that's for sure.
And it's my bad. You have sent me the pictures of the rings. We got to put them out on our socials. That's my bad. We got to put those out. But the pretty nice hardware for the girls.
Yeah.
It makes that's some serious rings. They're pretty impressive. I still have the pictures. Again, my bad.
I'll send you the. I haven't. I don't know if I've showed you the rest of them, but it's funny. They get bigger and bigger. That's
Good.
for sure.
Send them over, and we'll put them out on our socials so everybody gets to see them, because
Great.
it's quite an accomplishment. Going into that, Hockey East it's a tough division. It's not.
Mhm.
There's no cakewalks. There's no easy games, and
Yeah.
to pull off an achievement like that is, I mean, it's the stuff of it'll be talked about for years when you look back. It's tough to maybe appreciate it when you're in it, but
Mhm.
looking back at it in 4 or 5 years when they're doing whatever, they're going to look back and be like, man, we never lost one. I mean, it's just crazy. It's a crazy statistic. Yeah.
It is. It is, and I mean it's a big reason why we've had the success that we've had is because of that senior class. Not necessarily with the talent like they bring to us on the ice, but the culture shift from the past 4 years has just been like out of control. And I think the initial culture shift started with Kendall Coyne
Yep.
when she was here, and then it just kept on. It was really fun to watch. It just kept on building and building and building. Like one class would lay a foundation, and the next class or the next group of captains would just continue to build on it. And we went from Kendall to Brittany Bogalski's group there, and then who else was there? Paige Capistran and her group there. But we always had like one younger player um, that was in that captain group that eventually, pushed up to that C, and they just kept building the culture and building the culture. And it's not a we show up and we hope to win. Now it's like we show up and we expect to win type of culture, and they hold everybody accountable. And I think that's the big thing that they brought to our program, not the rings. Like the rings are just kind of a residual effect of what they brought to the actual program from a culture standpoint, which has been incredible to be a part of, and just to watch develop too.
Well, people talk about the culture of different teams all the time. You look at what the Bruins have done. You look at what Tampa Bay's got going for in the NHL level versus a team like Buffalo, for example. And it starts with the leaders, but it goes down to the entire roster from the bottom to the top. Everybody's got to buy in. Everybody's got to be rowing the same way, and it's not an easy task by any means. And kudos to you and Coach Flint and their whole staff for helping that culture. I mean, it's not just the players, it's the entire support staff, it's the coaching staff, the trainers, everybody's got to buy in.
Yeah, we try. We stress it, but I mean, we can give them guidance, but at the end of the day, they drive the bus, which they've done a great job of.
Go back a little bit with the rankings we were talking about. Is that something that you guys pay attention to? I know some teams, they have the stats up, and with a college team with the success that you guys have, is it like, hey, you guys are slipping in the standings, let's get it going? Is that a thing that's talked about at all?
I mean, it's always nice to get the recognition, but I mean, realistically, those polls don't really matter too much. Um, it's more about the NCAA pairwise ranking, which pretty much ranks the national tournament seeding.
Yep.
So that's what we pay attention to more, and we don't really pay attention to it till the end of the year. I mean, if anything, with the polls, like if you're high up there, the target on your back just gets bigger and bigger. So
Right.
it's nice to be. I think it's nice to be recognized, but at the end of the day, everybody can beat everybody. You need to still show up every game, and it's just a target more than anything. Like we
Yeah.
want to beat the number 5 team in the country, or we want to beat the number 1 team in the country.
All right. So now next stretch, you got a big stretch of Hockey East games coming up.
Yeah,
a lot in a short time before you guys go to Switzerland, which is a pretty cool trip, which obviously wasn't happening during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that trip a little bit? What
Sure.
you're looking forward to?
Yeah. So
tell everybody about it, I guess.
Yeah. So the trip itself is it's what's called the World University Games, which is it's basically like it's kind of like a university Olympics, right? So like university students primarily, and at least that's the way I understand it. For us, we're going to be going out there I think one of the teams just changed, but I believe it's going to be us, and we're not going as Northeastern. We're going as Team USA.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's the U.S., it's Canada, which is primarily university students, what they call U Sport. Then there's Switzerland is putting a team in, Russia, I believe Japan, and then I'm missing one more.
China and Switzerland I have, but that could be
China, there it
incorrect.
is, China.
Yep.
But I think for some reason I think that they might have changed, but I'm not 100% sure. So so basically they go out there, you play every team, and then that's how the seeding gets done, and then there's a medal round, and that's it. So I will not be going out there
Oh,
myself. They're gonna be out there for 16 days, and there's a ton of events going on out here from a recruiting standpoint that we need to make sure we're covering. And uh, I got a little 1-year-old daughter at home too, so I'm sure she appreciates that a little bit. That I'll be at least relatively local. So
great picks the other day to go off on a personal topic. Great picks with her. Said she was combing her hair with a steak. That was
oh yeah,
that was a
yeah.
great pick.
She got the worst part of me, which is my hair, and hopefully that's it. We'll see when she develops a little bit more of a personality how much more I screwed her up. But yeah, so it's going to be a great event. This is the first year that they've done this with hockey programs, because the dates never really lined up. They've done it with basketball programs before. So I believe Baylor went, men and women's basketball. I think Maryland went as well. So the men and women's hockey team from Northeastern is going to be the first NCAA hockey teams to go take part in this.
So if you go as Team USA, representing Team USA, not
Yeah.
as Northeastern, do you get players or any other players outside of your program?
No. So in the past, what they did was, so the ACHA, it's like, I call it like the NCAA of club ice hockey.
Mm-hmm.
What they used to do is get an all-star team from the ACHA. So teams from like all over the place. And the ACHA has that's like how Arizona State started their program in the ACHA, and Penn State as well. So they're talented players, and they put together an all-star team, and that's their Team USA. But this year they're using an actual NCAA team.
That should make it fun. And I saw that the games are available to watch and stream, so
Yeah,
should be good. And talk about a great bonding experience for the team to go over there. And then you come back and you jump right into the run for the close of Hockey East, the Bean Pot, and then the tourney. So it's a nice little break, recharge, have some fun. Because it doesn't in the grand scheme of things, it's not like it goes towards points or for the standing. So it's just a good trip. It's just it's like girls' trip basically to Switzerland to go play some hockey.
No big deal, right?
Yeah, well,
sounds terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Tough way to spend your graduate senior year, right? Nice. All right. Well, listen, I don't want to keep you. I know you got a game this afternoon, and I know you got stuff to do. Best of luck to you going forward. I'd love to touch in with you before the run, and we'll connect offline to get me in there so I can get some insider dope from the team at a practice or something.
Anything for you, Coach. You know that.
Appreciate it, bud. All right. Well, signing off. Best of luck to the Northeastern women's team taking on University of Maine this afternoon. Following up with a whole stretch of Holy Cross, BC, Providence, Vermont, UNH. Got
tough schedule.
Got to run the gamut there. You got to see everybody. That's the way it works.
Absolutely.
All right, bud. Well, best of luck.
Best
of luck to everybody, and we'll talk soon.
You got it. Thank you.
And this is where I don't do well. This is where Ked's going to have to edit. Yeah, I'm just going to hit stop.